Now it's my pleasure to introduce Alan Mankiewicz, who is also a co-spokesperson for Disability Matters Vote 2016.
Thank you, everyone. As Melinda said in her opening comments, this day is about the human rights of people with disabilities. One achievement we need to celebrate is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, or the CRPD. This sweeping new human rights convention was adopted by the UN General Assembly 9 years ago in 2006. Canada ratified the CRPD 5 years ago, and by doing so, bound both our nation and our province to take action. This international convention was established for two major reasons. First, though people with disabilities shared the same human rights as other people, these rights were being denied. The CRPD was developed specifically to create the clear and legal obligations on Canada and other countries throughout the world to take actions needed to promote and protect the human rights of people with disabilities. Second, the CRPD was established to mark a paradigm shift, a fundamental change in attitudes. Disability was recognized as a human condition that society needs to adapt to, not simply a medical condition. People with disabilities were recognized as having the right to choose how they want to live. People with disabilities were no longer objects of pity, charity, or viewed as a burden, but active and contributing members of society. And people with disabilities should have avenues to defend their rights and to influence societies in which they live. So I ask you to join me in celebrating the human rights for people with disabilities enshrined in the CRPD. The right to equal participation and benefit of the law. The right to participate fully in all aspects of life. The right to freedom from exploitation, violence, and abuse. The right to live independently and to live in the community. The right to decide where to live and who to be in a relationship with. The right to education. The right to work and employment. The right to an adequate standard of living. The right to take part and to have access to the same sport, leisure, and recreational opportunities in the community. And the right to accessibility. Let me close my comments with one of the basic human rights that we are all here to celebrate today. The right to vote and to participate in all aspects of political and public life. As set out in Article 29 of the CRPD, Canada and Manitoba have agreed to guarantee persons with disabilities political rights and opportunity to enjoy them on an equal basis with all other citizens. This is critical because it is through voting that we take a direct role in creating an inclusive Manitoba where people with disabilities are valued and all belong. Thank you for joining with us. Today is indeed a time to celebrate our basic human rights.
Thank you, Alan. Now, I'd like to kick off the Disability Matters Vote 2016 with a video that many of you participated in making for this event. This video represents our collective voice as people with disabilities, members of support networks, and staff who are all affected by policy and decisions made by our elected officials. It's a celebration of our right to express our points of view, our right to be heard, and of course, our right to vote. And now it's my great pleasure to help launch Disability Matters Vote 2016. As Alan remarked, voting is one of the most important ways that we create an inclusive Manitoba where people with disabilities are valued and belong. There are an estimated 168,000 Manitobans with disabilities who will be eligible vote in the next general provincial election that will take place on April 19th, 2016. These 168,000 Manitobans also have friends and families that care deeply about disability issues. Whether all of them vote and who they decide to vote for will make a huge difference on real progress on disability issues through to 2020 and beyond. Disability Matters Vote 2016 is about 4 basic things. First, it's about Disability Matters. Disability sex, and race combined. Disability matters because a lot more changes need to be made before Manitobans with disabilities are valued and belong. And disability matters because even those who do not have a disability now will likely acquire a disability in the future. The second thing that Disability Matters Vote 2016 is about is Vote 2016. As Alan said, voting is one of the basic human rights enshrined in the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. This is pretty new. People with intellectual disabilities, for instance, were not eligible to vote in federal elections until 1988. Disability Matters Vote 2016 is about ensuring that all Manitobans with disabilities are empowered to participate fully in all election activities, from nominating and electing candidates through to voting on election day. Third, Disability Matters Vote 2016 is about choices. Voting is one thing that's pretty easy to do. Making informed voting decisions is much harder. So Disability Matters Vote 2016 is also about making sure that Manitobans with disabilities have the information they need to make those important choices. And finally, Disability Matters Vote 2016 is about critical issues. As we launch Disability Matters Vote 2016 today, we also want to talk about the critical issues. Disability Matters Vote 2016 will focus on up to 5 of the highest priority issues faced by Manitobans with disabilities. Over the last few years, Abilities Manitoba and Barrier Free Manitoba have heard from thousands and thousands of Manitobans and their families about what needs to change. Today, we are announcing the first 3 key issues of focus for Disability Matters Vote 2016. Number 1 is that we want to see timely and effective implementation of the Landmark Accessibility for Manitobans Act. Manitobans with disabilities have the human right to participate like anyone else in all aspects of public life, where they work, where they study, where they shop, and how they enjoy the riches of our beautiful province. That's the law, but it has never actually been the reality. Issue number 2 is that we want fair and living wages, training, and quality assurance standards for those serving Manitoba citizens persons with intellectual disabilities. The inclusion in our communities of thousands of Manitobans with intellectual disabilities depends on the consistency and quality of care and support provided by community-based agencies across Manitoba. A training and an accreditation process and professional wages will help facilitate the full participation of people with disabilities in our community. Our priority issue number 3 is responsive and inclusive access to services for Manitobans with disabilities and their families. The current range of government programs and funded services is disjointed at best and broken at worst. There is a significant resource shortage in some areas, long wait lists, and some Manitobans are never able to access the services that they need. Disability Matters Vote 2016 will pose questions to all of our political parties around these important issues and share the party responses with our community. You can follow along by signing up for updates on the Disability Matters Vote 2016 website or on our social media channels. Our goal is to represent all interests in the cross-disability community. We will be asking all of you to identify the other 2 priority issues for discussion in the election. By signing up for updates or following us on social media, you'll receive a survey and be asked for feedback. Thank you to everyone who joined us here today, either in person or remotely, to celebrate this important day. I'm not sure if everybody heard me at the beginning when I said that we have packed out the legislature building. People can't get in. That is amazing. I look forward to more events in the coming months and to seeing the change that can be made as a result of our collective participation in this election. It's all incredibly exciting. Thank you so much for coming here today.